In this video, we're going to look at how MVL managed to beat Magnus Carlsen so many times in the semi-final of the Speed Chess Championships on chess.com. MVL has white, Carlsen has black. Let's take it from here. Bishop d7 has just been played by Carlsen. And white is trying to find a way to break through. Can't push at the moment. Bishop can take it. This bishop defends the outside pass pawn. Rook is well placed in the middle. If only we can get the king in somehow on these dark squares. Pause the video now. There's a really cool tactic here for white to break through. And the clue is it is not a queen move. How can you find a way for white to break through? The amazing breakthrough is e6. Doesn't look like it works because you can take with a pawn. But let's have a look at this first. In the game, bishop takes was played. Now after this, you can actually play c6. And the point is, now the queen can come in here to give a check. Take. Check. And then everything is going to fall. The king moves. You can check, check, take. You can play this. That looks clean. Attacking both. The queen can also come back and take all these pawns. There's lack of coordination between the rook and the bishop. The bishop is probably going to fall. So if you move the bishop, then it will actually fall in a couple of moves. Check, and then check. Queen for bishop, completely lost. So e6 is an amazing breakthrough move. Let's see the rest. Takes with the bishop. Now he pushes. Deflecting the bishop, we can push the asset. Rook down, take, rook c1, check, queen in, push. But here, white still has so much to do. How do you actually force that home? You still got a bishop and a rook on this file. The rook can always come back here, so then the bishop does two jobs. It defends the rook and defends the queening square. Well, let's see how MVL pulls this off. Queen in, so it still doesn't help this, but MVL has another idea. King to the left, king up, king in, and now king in. Finally, MVL gets the only piece in the game that hasn't been doing anything. Up, side, up, d6, e7. On to the dark squares. Take, king e7, rook e3, and pause the video or let it run. How does white win? The first move is queen f8 check, and here Carlsen resigned. The king moves, and then king f6. King, queen, control, g7. And there's no way to stop mate. If you can't queen your pawn, you might as well give checkmate. Let's take it from here. Carlsen has white, MVL has black this time. And it looks like black has a completely winning position. Apart from the fact that it's pretty difficult to push your passed pawns. Push, knight back. Check, king back. King d5. Pretty cool actually. Carlsen has found a way to stop these pawns moving. You can't push this one because knight c5 check will pick up this. So if you played e3, check. King moves, take. White has dealt with the pawns situation. So king d5, that's why black went knight b7. Bishop back to d2. King to the right, bishop e3, king back, b6. Good move, stopping MVL putting his king there. Bishop e7, knight d2, rerouting. Amazingly, Carlsen has found a way to block these two pawns. Bishop b4, knight c4, bishop c3. So the bishop was here, it's come round here, 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 and the point is it's still controlling all these dark squares. Knight e5 check, and MVL took, allowing takes, and it's amazing. What a complete turnaround. White might now be winning. White has stopped these pawns, and white has two assets here. This knight is just so clumsy. I'm pretty sure Carlsen thought he was going to win this game, but not today. Knight d8. How on earth can this knight stop these two pawns? Crazy. Here, Carlsen could take this pawn. But he played e6 check, and you know what? I can't blame him. No one can blame him. Because after e6, it looks like it's completely winning. Because after knight takes e6, this is game over, right? Right? Wrong. I thought after this, game over. You're just down everything. All your pawns are going to drop. But it's incredible, even in a bullet game. Which means both players had 1 minute per side plus 1 second per move. There's an amazing tactic here. b7. Pause the video or let it run. Can you find an amazing way for black to save the game? Think about this. Both players had about 10 seconds on the clock, and it's amazing how MVL can be so sharp. He can be so tactical and see this opportunity. You can't be moving the king, so it must be the knight. Knight c7 check, king there, and knight a6, and he just saves it. Absolutely incredible save. King takes f5, king there, king e4, and knight c5 check. Even here, MVL can throw in a tactic. You can't take the knight because d2 and you get your queen. So for one move, king d4, now he takes with the knight, king d3, and then the king is close enough. Even though white is going to get one of the pawns, it won't be enough because black's going to swap off the knight for the remaining pawn. Game over. h3, take, 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 take. No way to win. What a save. Bishop h6. MVL is coming back into the game, putting pressure on a dark pawn against the king. Queen e4. Now's your chance to pause the video. An amazing tactic for black. How can black continue? And the clue is you want to get your remaining piece into the game. Pause the video now or let it run. The amazing move is c3 check. This is the only piece not doing anything. And the problem is there's a pawn on that square. So in order to get a knight there, you just give it up. You vacate the square. Check. Now you can't play king takes, you lose your knight. Pawn takes played. Knight c4 check. King d3. Check. This is the key move, which Carlsen missed. Now if you move the king here, then black will take with check, at the same time protecting the knight. So if king c2 check, then the king has to move somewhere. Knight b2 check, king d2, and now's your chance to pause the video again or let it run, because black is not going to repeat. If black repeated, I would not be showing you this puzzle. Pause the video now or let it run. How can black continue? How can black win a piece? Bishop takes e3 check. If queen takes, knight c4 check will win the queen. But if you don't take, then you lose the knight. All the red arrows show the squares you can't go to, so the king can only go to the side, and then check. Game over. King b3, you are a knight down. That's why here, white resigned. MVL pushes. In the game, take, played. You can't play rook takes because you just drop your bishop. Take, and now rook g4, because you may be wondering why on earth would a top player just give up a pawn. It's to swing the rook over, and now notice this pawn used to be here defending the knight, but a rook swing means the knight is now unguarded. Here black had to play an absolutely crazy move. No wonder Carlsen didn't play it. Knight h8, finding a way maybe for the knight to come back into the game. After knight f8, the reason this isn't so good, it's a crazy reason. Take, take, and then take. The rooks come off, and this is the point. Black is in big trouble. This bishop attacks the knight and the pawn. Move the knight, but you lose this. And white has got 2 pawns on this side of the board. Bring the bishop back and start marching these pawns up. Knight e7 was played. Now's your chance to pause the video. Or let it run. Can you find a really cool tactic here for white, winning a piece? Notice, bishop, knight on the same diagonal, MVL takes. take, and now bishop a3. And the rook can't move anywhere to defend the knight. So, rook takes c2 played, take, and let's see the rest. Because it's a very, very clean finish. Bishop f6, great move. Forcing the pawn to move. Bishop back to d4, centralizing the piece you have. Rook d5, h4, breaking up the structure on the right. Take, h5, g3. King up. And here, yeah, rook b4, good move. You don't want to take, because then these pawns are now just a bit closer to the queening squares. So MVL keeps going with his plan. Rook h4, take, king b7, king to the middle. Now the plan for white is to try and win one or both of these pawns, then he can get his pawns rolling. He doesn't want to trade. So rook h4, b5, king d3, another great move. You don't want to play this, because then, now it's 2 against nothing. You just keep your pawn on the left. King d3, king e4. Now finally, MVL's got the rook in a tangle. Wherever the rook moves, you're going to drop one or both pawns. This rook cannot defend both of your pawns on the right. Take, and here he had enough. a3. These pawns are not moving anywhere. One way to stop it is you just put a bishop there, cement it, it just guards every square. No pawn can get through. Also, you can play rook c5. Then this rook has plenty of time to come back to help out, and then you get your assets marching. Game over. So I thought that was MVL's best victory against Carlsen. MVL ended up taking the semi-final 13-11. It was such a close matchup overall. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed the video, why not like it and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release another video. Thanks a lot, and I will see you later.